Great I am, Yahweh. Hey, hey. Was and is to come. Let you guys get on. Let's talk philosophy today. Song of the day. Hey, he says, listen to this, Ellie. Take it up. Here it is. You ready? Moran, California, Tulsa. Jamming out. Oh, I have that CD, girlfriend. I play that all the time. You missed some of my scopes. You need to watch the other scopes. Is the one who lives in us. Royce City. Oh, yay. Okay, Emperor, I'll look for it. Well, Jenny, I admire yours, though. You guys are awesome. Holy is the Lord, worthy to be praised. Schwartz, Texas. Where's that at? Phoenix, Kansas. Where's Shirts at? That is crazy. Never even heard of that, and I've lived in Texas my whole life. So to share the scopes, if you're new to Periscope, swipe left, swipe up. Kalamazoo, Michigan. Welcome. Peoria, Illinois. I'm going to play my favorite prayer one. Here it is. My favorite new song. And we're going to talk about this theory because I want you guys to get, here we go. I want you guys to get the difference in these two theories. Hello, Astoria, Oregon. So swipe left, swipe up. You can share this. This is going to be a foundational scope on some different philosophy stuff that I want you guys to understand, because everything that you choose for your family as far as healthcare goes depends on these theories. This is like one of my favorite new songs right here. Your feet, good. Oh, that's the bad guy because we threw all the Halloween candy out this morning. I am the bad guy. My kids think so too. Thank you guys so much. Kelsey, Leslie, health coach Joe for sharing. I appreciate it. Okay, one more second. Now, if you've missed the other videos or you want to look up old ones, go to the website, family-wellness.com. Check that out. We got an app. Check it, check it, check it. You can do that. Breathing. There's the other social media. Oh, there is none above you. Ready? Okay, let's do this. Because I don't want to keep you long. This is a quick scope. And so I want to make sure we're only going to, this is only going to take me 15, 20 minutes. Because I want you guys to get the foundation of this. And I'm not going to go over any essential oils or supplements, but this is foundational. This is like identity as it relates to you and what you choose. You understanding these two theories, germ theory versus the terrain theory, is really paramount to how you live your life as far as health goes and as far as health choices and what you do with your family and your kids. Okay, this is really huge. Because one, well, they're completely opposite. Like, one involves the other, but they're both completely opposite. Okay, now, I want to tell you about each theory, who was the proponent of each theory, when they came out, because they came out around the exact same time. You know, all of the things that we do now, someone figured out before us. Okay, you understand this, right? Like, I want you to really get and think through the reason that we eat the food we eat is because someone created it before us, or they found it, or they decided that that was something we should eat. The reason that we drive the cars that we drive, or the reason that we live in the type of houses we live in, or the reason that we walk on the sides of the street in the direction we do is because someone before us decided that that was the best way to do it. And so then they created either laws or they created suggestions for us to do. So like speed limits, speed limits versus like yield signs, right? Like speed limits are law of, they figured out based on the curve in the road or based on whatever highway you're on, the speed that was the safest. Someone before us did. Then we us humans in our family work through those laws or ideas or theories that other people had, and then based on that, we live our life. Okay, this is like all of life, everything. Some of the things that people have done before us have actually been turned into laws, whether that's in the physical realm, in the physical world, like speed limits and, hey, don't steal things, that's a law, and we've created those, or in the scientific realm. Like there are certain things in science that have been proven to be right over and over and over and over and over, and they've never been able to prove it wrong, and so those are laws, like the law of gravity. So, law of gravity states that if I drop something, it's going to fall. If I take this mic, and I drop it, I can drop the mic. The reason that we have a hashtag drop the mic is because someone did the study, I think it was Galileo, did the study on gravity, and they dropped them, because remember he said he had like, it had two things that were different weights, and he dropped them, and they hit the exact same time, because it didn't have anything to do with weight, it had to do with mass and blah, 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 right? That's a law. Wolff's Law, W-O-L-F, Wolff's Law is a law inside the body that deals with bone growth and with bone modeling. And what it says is that if you put enough pressure on a bone, like let's say I have my arm and I put pressure into my arm right here for long enough, and I put pressure on that bone, the bone will either increase density or it'll change shape. I can actually make my arm change shape by creating pressure on this for a long period of time. That's why with scoliosis, it creates pressure and it changes the bone, and with other postural distortions, because pressure over time with a bone will change the shape. That's called Wolff's Law. They've proven it to be true. Corsets, exactly right. Worn over time, those long like neck things that they do in Africa, like they change the shape of the bone. That's Wolff's Law. Okay? Right. Yeah, sleeping in certain positions. Okay, those are all Newton. Thank you. Gravity. And I remember that when I was like, Galileo was the one with like space and all of the planets and stuff. And I was like, who was it that first did gravity? I couldn't remember if it was that new or if it was older. So let's look. If we look at that, and those are all laws because we know that they're true, then why? This is something you got to ask yourself. Why? Okay. Why has it been always, has the germ theory always just been called a theory and never a law? It's not germ law, okay? It's never called germ law, right? It's germ theory. Germ theory. So germ theory, why would something be called a theory the entire time and not a law? You know why? The reason that it's called a theory and not a law is because it's never actually been proven repeatedly over time to be true. It's never been actually 100% proven right. Okay? Because it's not proven. That's right. Like that's why it's still a theory. It's an idea, which means it is a opinion. It's opinion. So, you know, when you're reading the newspaper or you're reading a magazine, let's say that you take the U.S. News and World Report magazine, right? This is one of like the evolution theory, like all these things. So when you look at the theory, right? Let's say you take like the U.S. News and World Report magazine, right? And you take it, right? What is the theory? Just tying in. We're talking about the difference in the germ theory and terrain theory as it relates to health and wellness, okay? So we're going to talk about this. So in U.S. News and World Report magazine, there are the news studies, right? There's the news studies that talk about what's happening in, the Middle East and what's happening wherever, right? Then there is an opinion column. Like there's an opinion column where it's basically someone that's just like spouting off at the mouth about what they think and what they believe. Now, which one of those articles do you take more seriously? The one that's the actual like studied one that they did the studies on that country and they're reporting exact facts, or the one over here that's the opinion? Well, normally, usually the one that's actual hard facts is the one that you base your decisions off of. The opinion one, the opinion column is someone's idea and it's their opinion. That's just what it is. So with germ theory, it's an opinion. Okay, it is completely an opinion. And we're going to talk about when it was actually, when it was proposed. I'm going to tell you who actually proposed it. And then I'm going to compare it to the terrain theory. And we're going to look at both. Because what an opinion means is that you get to choose what you believe on it. Like you get to use your brain and you get to like logically think through like how the body's created, what we know about body and about physiology, okay? What we know about it. That's a great question, blessed mom of many. So on that, I'll do a whole scope on that because there's huge implications spiritually to disease and stuff because how it relates to stress. But that's not for today, okay? We're going to talk about this theory. So on the germ theory, We're going to talk about like how that plays in and how it's compared to the terrain theory. And with both of these theories, now remember, when the germ theory was being created and when it was being proposed in France, because all of the medical system, medicine as we know it now, was created in France back in the 16th century. So the germ theory was started kind of around the 16th century when this was really like really cemented down as like the theory that everyone was going with, was closer to the 19th century with one scientist. And so all of France did most of the medical studying back in the time. Exactly, you never heard of terrain theory. I know, I'm going to teach you. But there were two theories at the same time. There were two competing theories, two opinions at the same time by two opposing doctors. That's just where everybody was. I don't know. I don't know if it's because they had the smartest doctors and the scientists at the time, or they were progressive thinkers. It's just that when you look back historically, most of the like the theories and stuff that were coming out were in France, which is, you know, kind of interesting. I think that more of it really was because of the caste system, like the actual king of France. I think they actually, when you look at history, they're the ones, the kings were the ones that were actually paying to have all the studies and for them to look up and do all these things. So they were commissioning the research. And I think that at the time, this is just what that king was wanting. And so when they were doing it, this is the country that was coming out of. It's just historically you look at it. Okay, so germ theory first. Let's talk about this, right? So germ theory first. So germ theory, the scientist that goes along with the germ theory is Louis Pasteur, okay? Louis Pasteur is the father of antibiotics. He's actually kind of the father of medicine, period. But this was all kind of proposed and came out in the 16th century. Both of these are. So when you look at this, germ theory's whole state is that the issue with health and disease lies with microbes, which equal germs. So the theory with this, okay, the theory with this, no, he didn't make penicillin. He had started the initial antibiotic craze in vaccines, but he didn't make penicillin. So the theory behind the germ theory was, if I walk into a room and there's germs in the room, I'm going to get sick. And that's the theory. It's still the theory now. Like now, all of medicine was created around this guy's theory and this guy's science. And this was the theory or the opinion. This is the opinion column that everyone read and they liked in this time back all these centuries ago. Over, like, what are we in right now? We're not the 21st, we're the 22nd yet? 21st, 22nd century, 100 years, over 100 years ago. This is the tenet of thought that they adhered to. And so all of medicine, all of medical school, all of everything that we base modern medicine, Western medicine off of, is based off of the research and the idea of one guy named Louis Pasteur. There's a couple other guys that started agreeing with him, Richard Koch, and there was a couple of them like that. But this was the guy, Louis Pasteur, okay? He created the very first vaccine, right? So his whole theory was that, there's microbes. Like he had studied he had studied one little boy that was really sick, and he found out that there were microbes in his blood, right? And he looked at it. So when you look at that, he was like, he's sick because of these microbes or germs that is in his system, and they're the ones that are making the body go down. So this is literally the birth of modern medicine as we know it, okay? Birth of modern medicine as we know it. Okay, now let's compare that to the terrain theory, which is another theory that literally is not even found in the encyclopedias anymore, even though there was another scientist, another doctor that has more accolades in the historical documents in France than any other doctor for all of the things that he studied and all the things that he helped create and all the things that he helped produce in the country, because he was such a genius. So this second theory was happening at the exact same time. This other scientist was studying a completely different look at this, and he didn't agree with Louis Pasteur at all. He didn't agree with him saying that all of health and all disease depended on germs. And it depended on these outside forces that acted on us, okay? His theory was a little bit different, okay? So terrain theory was a theory that was championed by a doctor named Anthony or Antoine Béchamp, B-E-C-H-A-M-P. You can look him up. Antoine Béchamp. So his theory, terrain theory, okay? Terrain theory is all about the sickness and disease. More depends on the strength of the immune system or the terrain, Okay, so his whole thing was, hey, you know what? I know there's germs and everything, and he even acknowledged, yeah, there are microbes. He called them microzyma, okay? And so that's what he called it in history. He said, yeah, there's microzyma, and when you look at people who are sick, they have them in their system. But he said it's not because of that they got sick, because those were around all the time. We've always had those. What his theory was is that it had everything to do with the strength of the terrain or the body, the strength of the immune system. And if the immune system was strong enough, it didn't matter what the germ was. That was his theory. And that was the thing that he proposed. And so they both took their theories or their opinions, because this is what they'd studied, they both took their opinions to the King of France at the time. Okay? And they picked. This is literally what happened. Okay? And so back centuries ago, they were like, we're going to go with Louis Pasteur. Think about this. So centuries worth, billions and billions of dollars. All of these hospitals, all of the treatment, all the things that we're doing now, all of the surgeries started because of one choice from one king to choose the research from one scientist and not the other, even though they were contemporaries. They were literally had competing opinions at the exact same time. Neither of them, they're both theories, which meant they're both opinions, which meant one of them could be right and the other could be wrong. You see this? So you need to look up research on hand sanitizers. Hand sanitizers don't work. But if you're using a better one and you're using one that has these in it, it actually works. No, and this is what, okay, so let's talk about that. Andrew Beecamp never said that you should never make sure that you're like helping the body and feeding it. He never said that you should like just go eat a bunch of bacteria and microzyma. That's not what he said. But he said if you could boost up the immune system, that it would fight and it would help handle all of the different bacteria and the microbes that you came in contact with, and you wouldn't get as sick. And so they had done studies on this, and like we even talk about this with you guys. The thing that we talk about is, you know, if we all walk in a room and there's me and you guys, and there's like, let's say there's 400 of us, and we go in a room and we go to a conference and we're at a seminar, and there's a couple of people that are sick, or there was a conference right before us, and there was a bunch of sick people in it. Well, part of the people in that room are going to get sick. Part of the people are going to get really sick. And a huge chunk of the people are going to get anything. So Andrew Beecamp's research, he was like, well, if it's all about the germ, then why doesn't everybody get sick? That doesn't make sense. And it doesn't. And so that's something for you guys to be able to look up. Like, go look at it. And you need to make the decision for yourself. Because you're either going to live out of fear of them catching something, or you're going to live out of empowerment and you're going to boost up the body the way it's created, and you're actually going to strengthen creation and help the body do what it's already created to do. You want to drop that mic? I'm going to drop that mic, lady. I'm going to drop it. And you're going to help the body do what it's already created to do in the first place, and you're going to live out of love and out of empowerment, not out of fear. Even if you're wanting to be able to fight something, and let's say your kids catch something or whatever, that's fine. Don't do it out of fear. Do it out of a place of knowledge. Do it out of a place of information. Do it out of a place of peace, and out of a place of like common information with your spouse and with your doctor and everything else. If they won't help you, then go somewhere else. Someone else will take your money. Trust me, okay? Why is this not more prominent now? We've advanced so much in medicine and science. You would think, but if we've advanced so much in medicine and science, then why do we have more and more sick people? Why do we have bigger hospitals with bigger car garages? Why do we have to keep building garages next to all the hospitals and adding more beds to the hospitals if we've actually advanced further in science and in healthcare than any other time in society? We have the smartest, most advanced healthcare system ever in the history of all of mankind, and we have the sickest society, especially in America. We have the greatest healthcare system in all of society, and we have the sickest population ever in the history of mankind. Yeah, you're teaching, treating versus supporting, okay? Is this time to ask you how you feel about the flu vaccine? No, we're not going to talk about that. Anything that you're going to do that you're going to fight a symptom, even though that may be beneficial for a time, like you may need to cover up a symptom for a time being. That may be the path that you need to go for a little bit. You're still not fixing the problem. You're still not fixing the cause. So you have to go back. No matter what you're doing, right? You still have to go back and you have to look at, am I fixing the cause or am I just treating a symptom? Because if I'm just treating a symptom, then that's not fixing why the symptom come up. Because remember what I've taught you guys. The body is created for perfect function and health 24/7, 365. Always. It's always functioning the way that it's designed. Even when stuff happens, it's still functioning correctly. It's not misfunctioning. But we create environments and we create stress, whether it's from diet, whether it's physical stressors, injuries, or lack of movement, or whether it's from emotional stress, that force our body to adapt, and it forces our body to do something different. And out of that adaptation comes symptoms. And once symptoms are together for a long enough period of time, someone's going to put a name on it, because once you name it and you diagnose it, then you can treat it. And you have to actually name it and diagnose it in order to treat it, because that's you cannot legally treat it unless there's a name to it. There you go. That's it. That's germ theory versus terrain theory. So the thing about that is you have to choose what way you're helping to support the body. Because if it's germ theory, if you really believe that that's the truth about how the body's created, then you're going to treat symptoms all the time. And you're spot on. Even with essential oils and supplements. Hear me on this. Crunchy Oilers, crunchy organic peeps, my peoples, hear me on this. You covering up a symptom with a supplement or an oil is no better, other than there not being as many side effects, as me covering it up with a medication if you're not going to fix the cause. You understand me? You covering up something that the body is trying to give you a heads up on. Oh, I've got a headache. I need to just shut it down with something. Oh, I've got this. I need to just cover it up with something. You have to go back and ask why. Why is my body creating that symptom? It will only create symptoms in order to give you a heads up that something isn't perfect in your environment. Whether it's stress, whether it's hormones, whether it's diet, whether it's physical activity, whether it's nutrition, whether it's sex, whether it's no matter what it is, there will not be a symptom involved with that process in the body unless something isn't working correct. Boom. Then your job is to be the detective and go back and go, why? That's why I've taught you guys the systems. This is all coming out full circle. What I want you guys to learn, and then what you need to do is you go, I have a symptom. My finger hurts when I do this. Why would my finger hurt? And you go back and you go, what's the system? Okay, musculoskeletal system. What could be happening? Well, it hurts when I move it, so that's either a tendon or the joint. It's around a joint, and it gets really swollen after I move it. It's probably a sprain. You see what I'm saying? And you can go back, and yes, you are the scientist. We are the scientists. We are the researchers. You're the scientist in your own home. You're the scientist of your own body. So you can't let me or any other person, you can't let me or any other doctor, any other person, no matter who they are, tell you how your body works more than you, because you are the expert for your body. I'm going to point you right there. You are the expert of your body. So if something is coming up, high fives to y'all. If something's coming up, you need to learn what's happening and be able to support your own system. Okay? Questions. Ask me a question real quick. Somebody ask me something. Anatomical stuff is God stuff. Yep, that's right. Let's see, Cecily. Winter must have been God was so. Okay. Yep, you're right, Alexi. God created the physical to represent the spiritual. Woo! I dropped the mic on that. Boom. Surgery can be God's plan. Absolutely. Surgery, thank God, right? Thank God that we have doctors that know what to do once we've messed our systems up long enough, or there's genetic changes and weaknesses that's going to require us to need stuff. Absolutely. And so thank God that we have the systems and things that we need if we really need them. But what if we don't really need them all the time? You know, there's times that you need it, and there's a lot of times that you don't. And so Johns Hopkins School of Medicine and the Mayo Clinic says, remember, Johns Hopkins School of Medicine and the Mayo Clinic says that they are correct on diagnosis. They're correct on diagnosis less than 20% of the time. So, I mean, you know, while I moved to Ohio, you guys have seasonal affective disorder up there. I mean, I don't know if I want to come up there. Exactly. They think that we don't believe in conventional docs, but it shouldn't be first choice. Hey, I am the first. If you come and break my leg, I don't want you putting oils on me until after I get a cast on it. If I have a brain bleed, don't put helichrysum on me. I want to go to the hospital. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's things that are there's things that are very specific that Ohio people are laughing. Seasonal affective disorder. That's why I added you guys to the depression scope, just in your honor, Ohio. Because I was sad that you guys have an actual diagnosis called SAD. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Wellness for Kids yesterday was great. Amen. Running SWLA Mom Niner over. Shouldn't we take both theories into account, support immune system, and avoid germy situations? That's what the terrain theory is. Terrain theory says that it's all about the immune system, and then you need to watch out for the germs. But it's not the germs. Here's another way to look at it. So let me give you another theory. Let's say that we go out and we're in Chicago. And Chicago, or let's say New York City. We're in downtown New York City. We're in Manhattan, okay? And so in downtown New York City, as long as you're in the main streets and you're out front of like whatever, and you're out front of like Starbucks, it's clean. Let's say that I go in the back alleyway, and there's all this trash in the alley, and you and I go back there. And we go in there, and there's trash all in the alley, and the dumpster got turned over, and it's out behind this restaurant, and there's rotten food everywhere. And as we walk back there, because it's still a little light, we see rats running everywhere. Okay, you with me? So we walk back in this alleyway, and there's trash everywhere, and all of a sudden these rats run out. You have one of two choices on there. You go, oh man, do you see the mess these rats made? That's one guy. Louis Pasteur goes, God, look at the mess these rats made. They dumped over the dumpster. The other theory is, no, once that dumpster got turned over and the food got dumped out, the rats came. That's the difference. Did the germ create the issue? Or was there a weakness in the terrain that drew the germ to it that then allowed it to create more damage? That's the difference on that. Right? That's a whole other analogy. So rats in the alleyway analogy. Yep. Terrain of the gut. You got to make sure that there's good bacteria. So interesting. Good. Cecily, that's right. Of course it's right. I said it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Got it great. Okay, good. Seeing my kids sink with caustic water instead of sink with building the immune system. There you go. Light bulbs are going off. Awesome. Alicia loves it. Cecily is going crazy 6 times. I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm going to let you go. This is my quick scope. So this is like the quickest scope I've done forever. Correlation between Hashimoto's and TMJ. Hashimoto's is a thyroid issue. Thyroid issues mean you can't absorb calcium. Not absorbing calcium means you're going to get muscle spasming and it could go to the jaw and affect posture. There you go. Here's terrain theory. I go on hours about the other. Peace out. Thanks for coming. God bless you. Here's a terrain theory. Antoine Becamp. Sickness and disease depends on the strength of the immune system or the terrain. Okay. Germs are the result, not the cause. Then, once they're there, they can cause all kinds of junk. All right, I'm going to turn you loose. Remember, website, one more time, family-wellness.com. Social media, just look me up. Find me. Come hang out. You guys are great. All right. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'll be able to do a scope or not. If I do, it'll be on the road because we're headed out as a family to New Mexico to hang out and do a lot of nothing. The app is called Lifetime Family Wellness Center. It's just after our office. And it looks like this. Get on iTunes and type in Lifetime Family Wellness Center, and you can stream the videos straight off of that. It's also on YouTube and on the website. So the only way that you're not going to find my videos is if you really don't look. That's it. All right. You guys rock. You're amazing. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. You guys have a fantastic rest of the day. I'll get on before Thanksgiving. And remember, be intentional today. Be thankful to someone today for what they do in your life. Lift somebody up today. Bless somebody. Bless somebody today. You guys rock. All right. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of today. Remember, health is simple. The theories are simple, but it's not easy. Keep working.